Good afternoon. I would like to welcome everybody to the October 4th, 2021 Select Board meeting. I would like to start it off with a call to order, roll call.
Daniel Air, 334 Oconga Turnpike.
Dan Manshak, 353 Scruton Pond Road.
George Bailey, Chestnut Drive.
James Sakosha, 21 James Henry Drive. I'd like to have everybody please rise as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Agenda review and approval. George?
Thank you very much. One of the items I had asked for the last meeting was to have a discussion only for the possibility of having our some employees work on Saturday Friday 9 to 1. I would like to have that put on there for discussion as I requested at last meeting.
Mr. Bailey, that's agenda item number 10C.
10C.
And Charlotte. Yes, I thought it was there.
Town hall operating schedule?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I withdraw. Sorry. I read that twice and didn't even notice it.
We're good.
Any other comments from the board?
Move we accept the agenda as written, as amended rather.
Second,
Okay,
Air I.
Manshak, aye.
Bailey, aye.
Sakosha. Vote passes. Okay, this brings us up to public hearing. Just as the board is aware, we're gonna have to open and close public comment on each of these. We cannot do them as a group. So I'll be looking at you guys, see if you have any comments. If not, we'll try and keep this moving as smooth as possible. Okay, public hearings. Sale of map 103-49 per RSA 4114-A. I would like to open up public comment.
So for anybody that wants to participate in any of these, you can put your hand up or unmute yourself if you're on a phone by pressing *6 and waiting for the chair to recognize you. And the public hearing won't be open for too long for these as we move through them. So make sure you get your hand up or unmute yourself to make a comment. Be prepared when the parcel you're interested in comes up.
While we're waiting for people to maybe chime in,
What is that road that,
excuse me, Dan Air had his hand up.
I'm sorry, Paul.
This says was reviewed by the town lands and the conservation.
Dan,
I was just asked, what road is that? I'm not sure what.
Berry River or Long Shores.
Okay.
Connor, how are we looking on your end?
Nothing coming through.
Okay, no further comment from the board. We need to now close public comment. Okay, public comment is closed.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we need to vote before we do that?
No.
Okay,
No vote tonight. RSA 4114A is two public hearings. 2 weeks
Okay,
apart,
understood.
and a vote at the third meeting.
thank you.
You'll see the schedule on the notice of public meeting. We'll be back for more hearings on the 18th, and then we'll vote on November 1st.
Okay,
All you can.
okay, this comes up to, next one up is sale of map 111-10 per RSA 4114-A. I would like to open up public comment. And while Connor is scanning the virtual end of things, do we have any comments from the board?
I have none.
Dan Air?
Reviewed by the town lands and the conservation.
Excellent. Any other comments from the board?
Nothing here.
Okay, I would like to close public comment for map 111-10 per RSA 4114-A. Brings us up to our next sale of map 111-11 per RSA 4114-A. I would like to open up public comment for that. As Connor is scanning the virtual side, I will look to the board as they have comments. Select person Air.
It was reviewed by the town lands and the conservation.
Excellent, thank you. Any
No
further
comment.
comment from the board?
Nothing
Honor.
on my end.
Anything on your end? I would like to close public comment on sale of map 111-11 per RSA 41-15A. This brings us up to the next sale of map 113-23 per RSA 41-14-A. And I would like to open up public comment for that. As Connor looks on the virtual side, I will look to the board to see if they have comments. Select person Air.
It was reviewed by the town lands and the conservation.
Excellent. Connor, is there any
Nothing on my
participation? Okay, I would like to close public comment for sale of map 113-21 for RSA 41-14A. Brings us up to sale of map 113-34 per RSA 41-14A. I would like to open up public comment. As Connor looks on the virtual side, I will look to the board for comments. Select person Air.
It was reviewed by the town lands and the conservation groups.
Excellent, with no further comment from the board. Connor, how are things on your end?
Nothing on my end.
Okay, I would like to close public comment for the sale of map 113-34 for RSA 41-14-A. Okay, this brings us up to the sale of map 126-29 per RSA 41-14A. I would like to open up public comment. Connor will be looking on the virtual side of things, and I will look to the board, see if they have comments. Select person Air.
It was reviewed by the town lands and the conservation group.
Excellent. No further comments from the board.
Nothing
Okay.
on my end.
I would like to close public comment for the sale of map 113-34 per RSA 41-14-A. This, that was, we were at 126-29, correct?
227.
So I would like to close public comment for the sale of 126-29 per RSA 41-14-A. Which brings us to the next sale of map 227-30 per RSA 41-14A. I would like to open up public comment for that. Connor will check the virtual side of things as I will look to the board for comments. Select person Air.
It was reviewed by the town lands and the conservation, and it was discussed at length.
Excellent. Okay, with no further comment from the board. Connor?
Nothing on my end.
No, nothing on Connor's end. I would like to close the public comment for map 227-30 per RSA 41-14-A. Which brings us to the next, or to the purchase of map 248-1 per RSA 41-14-A. I would like to open up the public comment for the purchase of map 248-1 per RSA 41-14A. Connor is going to check the virtual side of things on his end. I will look to the board for any comments. Select person Air.
It was reviewed by the conservation and the town lands.
Excellent. Connor, anything?
Nothing on my end.
I would like to close public comment for the purchase of map 248-1 per RSA 41-14. Okay, sale at, this brings us up to the next sale of map 248-3 per RSA 41-14A. I would like to open up public comment. Connor will be checking the virtual side of things. I will look to the board for comments.
I do have a question. This is the one that's going to offset the previous one, is that correct?
That's the intent.
Yeah, and 49,000 will cover that?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we would. We should review this. I think there's a mistake here.
On this one,
Yeah.
where do you think the size? What do you have highlighted?
No, because that was the deal. If you read the comments and stuff, the town lands. I think that's privately owned.
The one before is the one that we would, that would give us permission to buy. This is the one that actually abuts the town forest.
Right.
And then this is the one that the town currently owns that we would sell.
Yeah. So we have an agreement on this yet, do we?
We don't have agreement. This is what gives us the authority. If we don't have the authority, then we can't pursue the option at all. But the gaining this authority is with the purpose
Right.
of entering agreement to buy and sell.
Right.
But,
That clarifies. the
Okay.
regulations.
yep, thank
Okay, do we see anything on the virtual
you. Nothing
side?
on my end.
I'd like to close public comment for sale of map 248-3 per RSA 4114-A. This brings us to the sale of map 258-11 per RSA 4114-A. I would like to open up public comment. Connor will check comments virtually, if any. Looking to the board if they have any comments or concerns on this.
No, I'll make a comment. Yeah, it was reviewed by the town lands and lands, town
Excellent.
lands and the conservation.
Okay. Anything on your end?
Nothing on my end.
With nothing on your end, I would like to close public comment for the sale of map 258-11 per RSA 4114-A. And I think that's all of those.
Great work.
Um,
You can bill Andy for your services.
yeah. Now I would like to close the public hearing.
Public here, yeah, you open and closed each. one. We're
Okay,
ready to
all
move
right.
on to the consent.
I just wanted to make sure, as
Absolutely.
select person Bailey was making sure I was on top of it.
All over.
Okay, this brings us up to the consent agenda. Do we have any comments, concerns? Dannon, you got your,
Yeah, on page 5 of the minutes, it's a huge change. The first paragraph, sentence says that the band, future broadband grand funds, I'm sure they're grand, but I suspect
Thank you, sir.
a spell check beat you there.
But problem is grand is a word.
I know.
No, that's the.
Spell check one on that one.
Yeah, we need, yes, spell check did win.
That's not Tiffany's fault, that's spell check.
Well, she
Okay.
has spell check with a brain and that's me, and so I missed it too,
Okay,
uh,
not to worry.
as noted.
so do we have a motion to accept with a grammar change?
So moved.
Second,
Air I.
Nantrick, aye.
Bailey, aye.
Sakosha.
All the happy to go out and tell you a long story.
Okay, appointments. Yeehaw, let's go. 2022 budget presentation, fire EMS, ambulance, cemetery.
And I received word our brave men and women in the police and fire side are on a call right now that's occupying all the services that we have available. And so I think the probably the most appropriate thing to do would be still have a conversation about the fire EMS budgets. I hopefully will be able to answer most of your questions or speak to any topic that you need to, but maybe at the next meeting, we can give Chief Walker an opportunity to give a brief statement to the public regarding his budget and answer any unanswered questions at that point. If that's how you'd like to proceed.
This is my view on this. I think, you know, we could sit here and talk about it tonight, but we really want to get and hear it right from Rick. Otherwise, I
Hear, hear.
think we'll be spinning wheels here. So do I hear maybe a motion
I'll make a
to
motion to that we
postpone?
postpone this until the next meeting we have next Monday to move this budget forward. And use
We're not meeting next Monday.
The October 18th.
October 18th meeting, move this forward to that. And
I guess what I would ask,
ask Connor to give us a shorter agenda so we can move through it.
what I would ask is if there's any board members that have questions or would like additional information regarding the fire department budget, ask for that now to make, or, you know, before the next meeting, so we can include those materials, just to keep that, because we'll have 2 budget presentations at that meeting. And so I think it'd be to keep things moving along. If you have things that you have questions about, getting that out sooner rather than later.
Select person,
I don't know if the budget committee has any questions tonight. The, was, reflected in the minutes while he's present. Do you have any?
Police is the next week.
Yeah, it's library.
It's October 25th.
It's
Yep,
library.
it's just library on the 18th.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, just to make a comment, Mr. Chairman, I had a conversation with Connor concerning some of this morning, so I just think that we could cover it and move right on. It's an easy budget.
Excellent. So we have the request from TA McIver on if you guys have any questions or concerns, get those emailed in or brought up ASAP. But vote actually, did we come down to a vote? Did we confirm?
I made the motion.
You made the motion. Do we get a second from Dannon?
There, I.
Mancheck, aye.
Bailey, aye.
Sakosha, aye. Vote passes to postpone Mr. Walker and his team to the next select board meeting. Okay, next up on appointments. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would really ask that the board have some of that conversation because time is of the essence for that approach. And so even if we don't come to a conclusion tonight, but get us close enough so, you know, we can more reasonably expect a conclusion at the next meeting, would be important.
Yeah, let's deal with that when we get there. I mean, I think we definitely, since Connor brought that up, we probably will talk about that. But like I said, we'll get to that when we get there. So I would, next up on appointments, we have, Charlie, I'm gonna say the last name, Tatum, Conservation Commission Alternative. Do we have any comments from the board? Select person there?
I brought it up last week and then I still recognize all his hard work on the Trails Committee. He's gonna be a benefit to being alternate on the conservation and his hard work on the Trails Committee too.
Is that a motion?
No, if there's no further comment from the board, we do need a motion and
I'll make the motion that we appoint Charles Tatum as an alternate to the Conservation Commission.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a second by select person Air. Roll call vote.
There, I.
Mancheck, aye.
Bailey, aye.
Sakosha, aye. Okay, welcome to the team, Charlie.
Yep.
Okay, next up, we have, Andrew.
Melnikas.
Melnikas, there we go. I wasn't gonna get that one. I'm horrible with last names. As I have a horrible last name, if you haven't heard that one pronounced before, so I feel the pain. But planning board, we're looking for a discussion out of the board.
I've had a chance to review his appointment request and I don't see any reason why we should not appoint him.
Any
Is that a
other,
motion?
any other further questions or comments out of the board?
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, I was.
There's no motion required here. This is just simply a discussion.
On the planning board, did you work with?
No, I have not worked with him, but I'm just going by what I've read here.
So Andy's on the planning board, right?
So Andrew Melnikas is already an alternate on the planning board. He's been serving for a number of months now, but due to a recent vacancy, there's a full member available position. So, you know, similar to how we've done in the past, I have it here as discussion and then go to the next meeting. If you wanted to waive your appointment to board procedure, you could and appoint him now. The reality is he's going to show up to the next planning board meeting. He'll still be able to vote as an alternate. So won't change the course of history.
I'll make a motion to waive. There's a meeting tomorrow night. And we might be needed.
He'll be there as the alternate anyway.
Right.
But could I suggest that we not waive it?
All right.
Because it's not gonna make much difference, and I think we ought to stick with our procedures as long
All right.
as it doesn't make a big difference in what we do.
I don't have a problem with that. I withdraw.
Is the board comfortable with those decisions?
I am.
So we don't have to make a motion or anything.
Nope.
Okay. So,
Yeah, no, that's perfect. We'll consider it again on October 18th.
I think it's pro forma.
okay. This is the lovely part of the meeting where we go and we open up public comment. We have, nobody in the crowd tonight, surprisingly. If you are online, please scroll down and raise your hand if you're calling from a touchtone phone. Connor
Star
knows.
six. Yep, *6 to unmute yourself. Just speak up, wait to be recognized by the chair. You can also enter a comment into the chat feature. Let us know that you have a comment you'd like to wager. Public comments limited to 3 minutes per person, 15 minutes total. There's another public comment portion later on in the meeting.
Do you see anything on your end?
Nothing coming through.
Okay. I'd like to go ahead and close public comment. Nope, nobody's banging on the door. Okay, staff reports.
Green light.
DA McKay?
Yep, just real quick, we're here the first meeting of October, and not surprisingly, a relatively light month when it comes to work anniversaries later on in the year, but we do have three want to recognize. First, Sam Sarosky, police officer in the police department, has been in town for 2 years now. We look forward to his continued employment and tenure here in Barrington. Madison Newton was hired as a technology library assistant 1 year ago, and Martha Spinney joined the fire department 1 year ago as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. What about municipal officer administrator Cox?
She is logged in from home, excused from the meeting tonight, but she didn't share that she had anything to add. And I don't see her unmuting herself to add anything.
Excellent. Well, we'll keep it rolling right into old business. Fire department staffing plan. George.
Thank you very much. I think it'd be advantageous for us to put this on continued for next week. One, the fire chief is not here to help us. Secondly, the chair's not here. So I think it's, because we'll know we're going to review it again next meeting we have. So I just think that we should just postpone it and go the other way and give it, and also just give Connor a chance to just do a faster review and prepare us for that in 2 weeks.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, it's a motion. Okay.
Okay, well, I was looking for discussions. I wasn't looking for a motion
Okay,
right off.
discussions it'll be then.
You know, I think do we have any immediate questions on this that, you know, we can get out there? Like, I'm talking like a bulk question, anything big that stands out to the board, that when we roll into the next meeting, you know, can we knock down some of the information we need now?
Could I suggest we look at the
I was going to
Yeah.
go ahead and have him step up, but I
I was
was
gonna say, well, may not even need to do that. If you look carefully at the notes.
Yep.
The minutes from that meeting and the discussion, I think a lot of the questions were asked, some of the material that we have here answers it, particularly his proposed, coverage, schemes, which there are three in your packet, including, current scheduling and the proposed scheduling, two alternatives on scheduling. So like I said, it's pretty straightforward. I think if Steve has more to offer, obviously, we'd like to take that. But I think a lot of the questions that we'll have were asked.
I think a lot of them were answered as well. Steve, could I actually please have you come up here?
Yes, this is Steve Saunders, budget.
Hold on, Connor, do you need to do anything to?
I can turn the video on, but the mic's going. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's all right. It's fine, I think.
Have a seat, Steve, so they can see out.
Oh, they gotta see me now.
Yeah, they want to see that beautiful smile. Come on, there you go.
On the camera.
Well, I'm just afraid it's gonna show all the crowd behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, from the ABC's perspective, tried to take,
Can you introduce yourself, Steve?
oh yeah, Steve Saunders, 28 Mass Road, chair of the ABC. And in the discussion, the minutes do reflect very well some of the answers, questions and answers that we had posed to Chief Walker. And kind of we're really solving with the staffing proposal for this discussion, an immediate need, not the full budget issues. An immediate need whereby staffing is going to be impacted by firemen who's in the reserves potentially. And that is when we make this discussion with Rick, the key thing is to look at what problem we're solving, which is a short-term staffing issue, which has, of course, ramifications in future budgets. So we looked at it from ABC from a perspective of what's the short-term need and proceed with that, given the risks with the future. And so that was ours, and we have asked to defer judgment on the budget impacts from the future. Because it doesn't, it's kind of neutral for 22.
Can we ask you some questions from the board?
Sure. Oh, no, I just had a statement that I wanted to make on what, partially what Steve was talking about.
Okay.
And during that meeting, Select Person Mantrek, who's on there, made a comment that just went right to the point. And he asked the service that we want for the residents, 12 minutes or a 2-minute response on the amount of having the additional individuals. It's just everything's all covered as far as I'm concerned, because it shows a concern for the citizens also. Thank you.
Steve, anything else?
No, from my perspective, that's it. From the ABC, we're looking for the discussion
Okay.
next time you meet with Rick.
Excellent. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, guys, I think that pretty much wraps up the fire department staffing plan discussion for now.
Mr. Chair, if I could, if there isn't widespread objection, again, I mean, time is a little bit of the essence in getting a hiring process started in order to have the overlap. I mean, you certainly don't have to make a decision tonight, but if there's no objection, is the board interested in making a decision tonight if there's no additional information needed?
I would make-
believe it. Future budgets and stuff, it all goes together and stuff. I think we can go through this quickly with Rick here and stuff. Because I don't see any major things. How do we see Chairman Knapp and the fire chief?
Well, that's a question I'll ask the board. I mean, obviously, I'm the vice chair to step in when Andy cannot make it. So if you guys feel that, you know, in my decision-making, if you want to trust me in making that possible, I'm all down to accept it, but it's up to you guys.
I think what we might want to talk about here.
I feel like we should run it by Andy. Andy's on the, you know, he's been involved with the budgets a little bit longer than I've been, and he's definitely, that's in his wheelhouse. That's stuff he deals with every day, projections. I just would definitely like final confirmation out of him before we did something permanent. I know time is of the essence, but what are we looking at? 2 weeks is our next meeting. I don't think, you know, if we were talking 2 months, I think that's a large delay, but you know, if we're cutting it by 2 weeks, I don't think we're gonna gain or lose anything if much.
I would suggest, though, that the issue will be the coverage. If the person that is planning to deploy sometime in the next month or two to become pretty quick, and then we're going to have to look at the future out beyond that. That's kind of like concern.
It's like personnel.
There's potential. There's nothing etched in stone yet. I think we have time. 2 weeks, it doors up and then respect Chief Walker, his viewpoints too.
Yeah, I don't think we're not gonna vote on it tonight. We've made a discussion. You know, I think a lot of our questions have been answered before this.
Great.
We don't have anything else to really move forward on that. We're gonna wait next week, when Chairperson Knapp is here, and hopefully Fire Chief Walker can be here as well.
Great.
So continuing on in
Comment, please.
Select Person Bailey.
I know I'm not here to aggravate you. Please understand.
Yes, sir.
All I'm going to do is recommend it to the other board members that you do scan through this and get an idea of what's exactly in there. because the way Connor, as I made mention earlier, I talked to Connor about it. I went through there with a haphazard attitude question, and I came out there, just singing the praise of how it is in here. So if you have an opportunity, go through it and you'll get a better understanding of exactly what, they're putting forward to us. Thank you.
Excellent. Still under old business. Next up, map 220, lot 54, sublots 7.1 and 7.2, road name change. Comments, concerns from the board before we go ahead and vote on this?
You remember we voted on this last meeting.
I do not recall because I was not here in the last meeting.
Sorry, we voted on it the last time to say Estes Circle. The dispatchers don't like Estes Circle because it sounds so much like a state circle. They want it in the Isinglass Village Circle. Come on, why not?
Okay. Any other comments, questions from the board? Do we have any motions?
I move,
If you could, sorry to interrupt, I had indicated in my report that we had submitted E911 for comment, again. And, they came back and said that they recommend Isinglass Circle, because they were concerned with Village Place, which is a separate road. So the request, what we're asking you to consider based on their comment, their feedback is Isinglass Circle,
not Isinglass Village Circle.
not Isinglass Village Circle.
Okay. Then I move that we approve the name Isinglass Circle for commercial development located at map 220, lot 54, sublot 7.1 and 7.2.
Okay,
Second.
we got a motion. We have a second by select person Bailey. Roll call vote.
Here I.
Antrich, aye?
Haley,
Scotia, aye. Motion passes.
just for information here, the board for conversation in the middle of it, Chief Walker and myself, years ago, went to the State House. Represent us, said so we could go with 911 in the area and get permission to, road change. And I would say it was, a lot of time we both spent doing it, but now that we have it in there, I think it's finally showing its worth.
One of Barrington's marks on history. That's what changed to allow a municipality to change the name of a private road. They forced municipalities to comply with E911, but we didn't have the authority to change private road names in order to come into compliance. It was Barrington's efforts that changed that.
Yeah, we had people from Portsmouth who up here to represent themselves in that meeting years ago.
Excellent. We're gonna roll into new business. Up first for grabs is the radio communications improvements. Does the board have any discussion, comments on this?
This is under review tonight anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does sound expensive, but not doing it is more expensive. And there's probably, I don't have a judge of what this number is. It sounds reasonable to me. We do have money set aside to cover it. So I think it would be worthwhile to move on with this and see where we go.
definitely something needs to be happen for sure. I mean, with our, with some of the events that have happened this year alone, I mean, it's just unacceptable at this point. We gotta be able to talk and, but yeah,
I have observations I'd like to carry into B when we go to get to B.
okay.
When we get to, I'd like to say that, under this report that Connor, spent us, item 7, under, A, just talks about that we do have, some money set aside to do this. We have 268,000 set aside for this. And I think it's just, it's a worthy project we need to look at for this time.
So with that, we'll advertise an RFP specifications. We might have that back for a decision at the October 18th meeting, but we will get that advertised and hopefully get a contractor lined up to prepare that scope of work. Thank you.
We need to make a motion to do.
No motion required.
I'm happy with consensus. You can make a motion if you want.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm happy with consensus. I just don't want the board to be surprised in a couple of weeks when we're opening. And so I'm happy with consensus.
Okay, brings us up to B, library, semi-permanent storage shed. Connor, would you like to?
Yep, so I have all the information in my report. The library director is helping host an event with the library tonight. She let me know that she may be in or out to answer questions, but there's members of the library trustees available to answer any questions that you may have. As you can see, they're looking for some outside storage. They propose using the parking area, one of the handicap spots down at the end, to place one of these storage sheds that they would purchase using non-operating budget funds or donate it all together. And so the select board owns the property and would need to give permission to allow the placement of the shed, similar to how we did with the recreation department a few months ago.
Select person there?
I got a couple things. First of all, I was contacted the rec director and through Connor. They looked at the soccer field and stuff, so I was up there and I made observation of their storage unit is next to the tower. It's wood. And then there's another wood structure there. And I'll just go in the front, but if fire breaks out next to that tower, there's no engineer else stand by any amount of heat to get really through. That's a future problem, maybe if the odds are very low, but it could happen. And then, reason to talk about future work, but Connor and the director, we started discussion about wetlands out back, maybe getting permitted and fill that up, so not to crowd that area, it could be future work there. But my concern is about fire with this, and if that's next to the building, fire. There could be vandalism or spontaneous combustion, I don't know.
Excellent. Select person Bailey?
Thank you very much. As you know, I am supposed to go to the meetings at the library and I have missed, due to personal reasons, the last couple, three. I intend to make the next one. I worry about vandalism. I mean, how thick is the metal? What gauge are they using? Or is this just a regular lawn?
Wood prefab, George.
Pardon?
So wood prefab.
Yeah, but I was just going to get to the next point on there, Mr. Selectman, is that it's still not very strong and viable, and I'd be worried about moisture content and everything else, depending upon what they want to store in there. They're going to lose it or not. I think for the price that they have there, they can buy a 20-footer from storage for a shipping container. But as far as putting it there, I have no objections as to them putting it there. I know that's what's before us tonight, so I have no objections.
So unfortunately, Chief Joy is not able to be on this meeting. This is where I would ask him and give us a rundown about if there's tons of vandalism going on in town. But we have to remember, folks, at Locks keep the honest people out, and just because there's a wood door compared to a glass door, if people want to steal, if they put books in there or whatever, I think that would be really hard to see that in Barrington. And that would be very sad if we saw that. I don't think that's the community that we have or present. I know that there's, with every crowd, there's bad apples. But I think with this being in close proximity of a school, town-owned building, I think it might be highly unlikely that somebody might go, oh, I'm sure there's some valuables in the library shed. Let's get after it. In my eyes, I don't see a problem if the library wants to take it and their money, go buy it, put it next to their building that helps them out. I'm all for it.
I hope you're not trying to make fun of me, but I'm just
I'm
worried.
not trying to make fun.
I'm just worried about the cause. If something happens, what would happen with our insurance rates also? That's all I got to say.
Our lovely community, the library area has been targeted once with the sign. It was dragged down the road up Route 9, halfway across town. I have nothing personally against the library, but there's certain people in town that do. People will act out on it. I hate to say it. There are some bad apples. My concern is fire. So, and there is a storage container out back at the rec too. And it's a steel building. It's painted nice, as long as it won't look bad. So, and that's a little more secure than anything else.
Okay, well, thank you for your concern and your opinion on that. Do we, Gannon, did you have something?
No, I think George had a good point. International shipping containers is probably much more secure and less likely to have fire. I don't know what the cost differential is. I think it's probably not. It's probably about the same.
It's less
Yeah.
for a 20 footer.
Yeah, but my real, but I think we could probably authorize them putting something there. I would just recommend not having a wooden building like.
Okay, I think we
Being more secure.
got some good discussion out of the board, but I would like to see if there's any library trustees on that would like to.
The library trustee chair has her hand up, Lee Elliott.
Hi. Sorry,
Hi, Lee.
trying to get in here. Thanks for opening discussion for this and allowing us to come on. I just wanted to address the vandalism. I guess that's always a possibility. I think that could happen against any part of this building at any time. I don't think that a shed is necessarily going to be a direct target. The rec department had 2 containers behind their building or their part of the building. Correct me if I'm wrong, I know Jesse's on here. I don't believe they experienced a great deal of vandalism, but I could be wrong. In terms of the sign being dragged down the road, that is it was very unfortunate. That was the sign for the future of the new library. It's there on the land right now. Those were some teenage kids who took it on a joyride. Unfortunately, not a lot to do in Barrington except drag a sign down the road a couple of miles. So,
Good old country.
it's unfortunate that it happened. We've all done a few things that maybe we're not the most proud of. I don't think that's going to be a repeat thing. I don't see this shed being dragged down the road by any means. Just keeping it light. But the shed is mainly being requested because we are out of room, as you know. We have furniture stacked in the room that is normally the meeting area for events, for children reading. We can't have people in the children's room for story time the way that it is now. I'm not sure if you've been in recently, but we have furniture just stacked up. Our meeting space is scrunched down. So this shed is a long time coming. The shed that's there now, is an old bus stop covering, and it is falling apart. So we need to do something. Obviously, we don't have our new building, sadly, but in the meantime, we really need this shed.
Okay, to bring up what they had brought up earlier in a different perspective, I know that your shed dimensions here are 10 by 12. Can you just fill me in on how you came up with the shed design? Did you just find it? It looks great. You think it would just fit in nice? Because you bring up your space concerns, and I know that it's tight over there in the library. The board did bring up maybe a storage container, which those are steel. Yes, they can be painted, but you would have like a 10 by 20 instead of a 10 by 12. But those were a few questions I wanted to bring up to you before I let the board go ahead and ask questions.
Sure. So unfortunately, the library director, Melissa, could not be here. She's actually running an event at the library right now. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. So we're trying to be here to answer any hotspot questions in terms of how she came about choosing this shed. I know she did look at 2 different areas. I don't have the specifics as to why she specifically went with this one. The space, we can't go too much bigger because we're already kind of encroaching on the side of that parking lot, and we'll be using part of a parking space to put it on. We're just legitimately out of room in every way. But, perhaps this is just something we need to go back to Melissa on and get some more details. Unfortunately, I'm here as kind of a hopeful in-between to hopefully help this happen. So I don't have the exact answers to those questions, but you know, I'm here to just say we really need it.
Excellent. Thank you. Select person Ed?
I got two questions. Basically, I worked on many garages and stuff, and sheds like this. In the parking lot, this water bouncing off there is gonna rot faster than normal. So the life expectancy of this delamination of the wood is probably a lot sooner on the pavement and stuff than off on the ground. And up in Chichester, they have brand new containers. My neighbor's got a price on, they're $6,000, but you can go a lot cheaper than that, for 10 by 20, brand new. But you'll have to figure out, but information.
Well, this.
And then I have one more observation while I got the library. This will work consistent with town regulations. The sign's still up in the lot. And the library can go to the planning board, waive the fees, and get a sign permitted full time. The contents can be whatever it wants, so they can change the contents. We gave approval for a year, but it's still sitting there. So this would be consistent with our town rules. They apply to the planning board, they won't have to pay a fee, they get a sign permitted there. And they can say wherever it wants.
Noted. Select person Bailey?
I have to say that they have come before us asking permission to put the shed, not for us to tell them what shed we want. I brought these up because of the fact that it looks like vandalism was having, that was one of the concerns I had, but I am not objectionable to allowing them to put it there.
Okay.
If it gets broken into, fine. If they got books that's gonna get mildew and what have you, well, they can sell them for 50 cents if they're gonna turn around and, I see you, but, you know, whatever it is there. But that's all they're asking for now is permission to put it there. They've already talked to John, and
Excellent.
John has voiced his opinion to him. So, but
Select person Mantra?
It's to be put in the, handicap slot. Does that change our ADA, necessity to have so many, places, so many?
It does not, and if so, they would add another, they would deem another one over.
Okay, that's fine.
Select person Ed?
I didn't preempt my concern earlier. To all the fire chiefs here.
Well, we're not, we're
No,
we're on the.
I know the shed about
Yeah, about
fire, but there's one next to the tower now. If it ever catches on fire next to steel, engineers don't like steel on fire. This one in the parking lot. I'm willing, I put my concerns in and my advisory, if the board wants to vote, I'm willing to go along with it. But Mr. Bailey brought up a good point, I brought up some good points.
Sure did. Okay, well,
I make a motion, we approve them to put that in the parking lot as they request.
okay, we got a motion. We get a second by select person Mantra. Roll call vote.
Here,
Mancheck, aye.
Bailey, aye.
Sakosha, aye. All right. You
Thank
guys are
you.
good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Okay, game time decision here. I know that we were right on B for the library semi-permit storage shed. See the town hall operating schedule, but I would like to divert the meeting as we are blessed with Chief Walker here. And I would like to go back to let's go.
appointments.
Yes. It would be 6, appointments A, 2022 budget presentation by yours truly.
I would
Chief
like to
Walker.
make a note to the chair that according to our bylaws, what have you, we've already made a motion and taken a vote. We're not allowed to do that again, to change that motion and vote for, on the, I believe it was the 20th for the 2 meetings up for the, have the fire and the, and the, 2 of them to be done at that same time. We've already voted for that, and our bylaws don't permit us to go back and redo that motion.
Well, isn't
until-
that after the
until-
conclusion,
until
after
the-
the meeting is closed?
Doesn't state that in there. It says that once a motion is
So-
made, it's there. It's
Well, I'm gonna have to
Mr. Chair,
turn to PA McIver on
So-
this.
The appointments for a budget presentation is just discussion anyways. I mean, the board isn't making decisions. This is the opportunity for the fire chief to present his budget, answer questions from the board or the community. And so, I mean, I think it's certainly within the board's authority to hear the presentation from the fire chief, have discussion on the other topic that was postponed, given that the circumstances changed. It was properly noticed in the select agenda.
I disagree because out of consideration for Andy and then the ABC, they said they'd like the opportunity to be here too.
There was two different, one was under, appointments and one was under old business. The old business is the fire department staffing plan.
Does anybody have a copy of the board's rules and regulations with them? I'm at a short point because my other book is sitting home because it wouldn't fit in my briefcase.
I can pull up for you, Mr. Bailey.
Would you do that, please, and show how the vote is taken on there and read that, please? I'm just what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the long way around to give the presentation so that Andy can be here to do it. Steve's not here now, so he can't answer any questions, so he's gone with the thinking that it's going to be covered in 2 meetings from now. And to do it right now would be unfair for just even for Steve.
Excellent, that is understood.
And that's what I was trying to say, Jeff.
Definitely heard, okay?
I know that,
So-
and
so-
I get
so
the
we're
feeling,
not gonna bring it
I
up?
get the feeling, Mr. Chairman, that you're exercising your authority as chair to cut me off from finishing my statements, and I want to make a note for the record that I don't approve of it. Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add, Mr. Bailey?
No, there isn't, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, so with that being said, we will not go back into the appointments, but I will allow Chief Walker, while he is here and was out on a call and came back. Rick, we know that Andy's not here and Steve is not here from the ABC. Are you okay?
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you would like to tell us about your presentation, but we will have to visit this in another, at the next meeting when Andy and Steve are here.
No, and I apologize. Job got in the way and I certainly apologize for that. And I made it a point to come down here so that not to want to drag the further to try to get through this piece of it. So if you guys are good 20th, that's fine. I'll be prepared to speak on the 20th.
Appreciate your service and your effort to get here tonight, Chief. Okay. Back to new business. C, Town Hall operating schedule. Connor?
Select Person Bailey asked for this to be on the agenda. I'm happy to answer questions.
So Select Person Bailey, since you would like this on topic.
One of the ideas I've had here is we've been working diligently all along this board and the board before us. We've been working on taking care of the patrons of the town and the voters. And I just brought it up for discussion. 'Cause I can't remember the exact year that Fridays was excluded from the town hall employees in an effort to save energy in the old schoolhouse that was torn down. And what I brought up for discussion was that I'd like the board to consider being open on Friday, 9 to 1. I'm not here to ask for a vote. I'm just, because of our budget coming up and what have you, I thought it was the right time to see if we should provide service to the townspeople from 9 to 1 on Friday. A lot of people that don't get paid until Friday. There's a lot of people that get paid on Friday that spend their money early on Friday because they know the check's going to be covered. But I've had to use this plan earlier in life, but I know it still exists. So I was just asking the board to consider. Now, one of the considerations is I've had 3 individuals from the town telling me that my idea is like a straw, so they really don't think too much of it. So I still bring it forward to the board to see if the board wants to provide more service and utilize extra dollars that we'll have to put into the budget to compensate for this, or just not to worry about this at all and just continue on with the 4-day work week and continue with the services and maybe consider it another year or 2. Thank you.
Okay, select person Aaron.
I understand George's comparisons up, and then I thought about 2 is up. And then most recently, I don't really agree with your hours on Friday. For each department, I look at the working person, and like Wednesday night, that one night that registered vehicles, a lot of people can't afford to take time off work for registered vehicles. So that extended hours, I'm for you totally, George, but it needs to be reframed, which department and stuff, the needs are for and stuff. Is there any way to move their hours around, not really affect the budget that much? Some towns are open on Saturdays, but I don't think staff would like that. But it's a certain too, I'm looking at the working class. A lot of people can't make it and stuff. And then, I'd be intrigued on the needs from each department and stuff. Some departments are fulfilling them, but certain other ones aren't. I would want to address that, the needs of the people.
I had several of them that I've had in a private discussion with the chair, Mr. Knapp, and Mr. Knapp told me that the other ones really weren't conducive to way the board would think about them. So that's the only reason why I brought the other one up, with the same idea, is to help hold the voters or help the voters. Because I have no idea how many people come in on Wednesday. Wednesday's open till 6 or 7. 6. I don't know how many people come in from there also, because I think the majority of people get through work between 3:30 and 5. So, by the time they get here, is that going to help with the place? So that's why I just brought it up for discussion. I'm not looking for a vote or anything else. That's what I think we should consider.
Is there anything else, George?
No, there isn't. I don't have anything else.
So select person Aaron.
Here's another concern. Traffic. Certain intersections, certain times, they just can't make their stuff, and we don't want people speeding and doing that stuff. That would be a consideration too, about more flexible hours. They can't. I hate to say it, but 9125 is not gonna get better. Traffic flow.
You're right, on a Friday, especially during the summertime. It's a killer.
Select person Manshek.
I think we had part of this, I'm recalling part of a discussion similar to this, but doesn't the town clerk, the elected town clerk, have some say over those hours?
Yes,
Apart from the select board?
But I didn't
correct.
consideration.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yes.
So I'm glad to learn more about what the select board is hearing. Obviously, you're elected representatives of the people, so it's important that you all bring your feedback to the board for consideration, and especially how it affects operations. In regards to services, one of the things that I'm very proud of over the last couple of years, and especially after COVID hit, is what we've done to expand our services to be able to meet residents where they are. And so the improvements that we've made in being able to pay your taxes online, re-register your vehicles online without ever having to step foot in the town hall, without having to take a day off work to get to the town hall and try to get there on a Wednesday before it closes at 6, installing the drop box outside where we accept re-registrations, new registrations, tax payments, etc., submitting plans and materials for the building office and the planning office. And so I think, on the day-to-day, we have a lot of customer service representatives that work in that town hall. And they hear from residents every single day, day in and day out, that are looking for services from that specific department. And we've made it an emphasis to focus on adapting our services to get residents what they're asking for. And so, quite frankly, we haven't heard a lot of residents asking to be open on Friday. That isn't a need that they've shared or identified with our frontline staff and customer service representatives. And so, but the things that they have asked for are things that we've invested a lot of time and energy in providing, like being able to do more services online, being
Digital
available.
platform.
Exactly. So they can do it 24/7. So I want to emphasize that we do a lot to respond to calls from residents for expanded services. In my opinion, and what we've heard from residents in that interactions at the town hall isn't that being open on another day or open, in the Friday mornings is there's a lot of demand there. One of the reasons, in addition to energy savings, that the town chose Friday to close the town offices is because it wasn't very busy on Friday. One employee that was around at the time said that was social hour. Any residents looking for services on Friday mornings. So that was an easy choice at the time, and I suspect likely will continue to hold true. Thank you for the time.
Excellent. Select person there.
I like consideration to table this. The new town hall is open up there with the new technology and stuff. Revisit it then, George. Would you consider that?
Well, I'm
This
just,
is just a discussion.
No,
Yeah.
I know this discussion now, but I think we need a little more time with departments, and then with the new town hall and the new technology, you might answer a lot of things.
New intersection.
Yeah.
Select person Bailey.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just brought this forward for discussion to bring it forward to see if anybody had any other ideas by myself. And I appreciate the opportunity, Mr. Chairman, to present my ideas and go forward with it. I appreciate everybody's conversation in the matter, and Connor, yours also. Thank you very much for considering a request for consideration.
Is that all?
That's all. Thank you very much.
To make sure. All right, select board member reports and concerns. Select person there.
The town lands hasn't met since there, but I still emphasize through discussion with the chairman and stuff, and going over the draft of minutes and stuff, correction and stuff. They might come to the board for more direction. They have ideas and stuff, but you want to see what the board wants. Idea of direction on Gary Drive and instead of whatever you call it. And then conservation. One thing floated around I shared with Connor, that this our discussion, conservation, well, transfer station too. A way to change our habits and stuff. Conservation is very concerned about global warming and stuff, way to change the future and stuff, and solar, different ideas and stuff. And it's gonna be on Facebook, so I presented to Connor because we have a committee with transfer station and with the transfer station, and then people online and stuff, it could go a million different directions, so it's better if we're all working together on it.
Yeah.
So there'll be less confusion and ideas and stuff. So Connor shared it with Aaron and stuff, and I just want to keep everyone updated, so I don't do social media.
Well, are we gonna get a Dan Air on Facebook? Am I gonna be getting a friend request or?
Nope.
Well, everybody should be working together, everybody involved. Don't be scared of technology.
I do not do social media.
I know you're a cowboy, so.
But basically, I just share it and stuff. I thought it's smart.
Yeah.
I make sure everyone aware of going on and stuff. So you have ideas, someone else will have ideas. So
Yeah.
they all can come together, I think.
No, that's excellent. Anything else? Select personnel?
No.
Okay. Select board member Bailey.
Thank you. We have a meeting coming up next week for library, and that's all I have to report.
Excellent. Select person Mantrek?
You have the minutes from the ABC. ABC will not meet this tomorrow, since we're not meeting next Monday. The school board meeting is tomorrow. I anticipate a lively discussion of masks again. Hopefully it'll be more civil than the last. And we haven't had a transfer station meeting yet, although I think Aaron is planning to do it sometime in the next week or so. That's my report.
Excellent. Select board, or Vice Chair Sakosha, I do the rec. I have been going through, some issues with, a family member. I have not got a chance to catch up with Jesse, who heads up our rec department. I don't see, maybe she's on. I see the JT there. Jesse, are you able to pop in, chime in, and fill us in on the rec department?
Yep. So we actually received our Trex bench last week. So we have that up and it's underneath our rec sign. So
Awesome.
we just wanted people to know that that has arrived, which is really exciting. So besides that, we're still just continuing with our projects and getting ready for our fall festival, which is going to be October 23rd from 3:30 to 5:30.
Excellent. And I will try and come and see you Wednesday.
Perfect. No rush. Thank you, Jimmy.
Okay, Chair Knapp is not here to share planning board and whatnot.
And planning board is meeting tomorrow night, so.
Planning board's tomorrow night. This brings us up next to public comment. For those participating remotely, you have a Teams video conference, bit.ly/BARRSB, or you can call 664-0240. Conference ID is 676-749-973 hashtag.
I see somebody has unmuted themselves with phone number ending 6827.
Okay.
They can make a public comment. You can speak up now. Name and address. Possible that they themselves, or that wasn't intentional. Raise your hand, enter a comment in the chat feature. Lee Elliott has raised her hand.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, just Lee Elliott, 108 Autumn Lane. Just wanted to mention the library trustees meeting is October 19th. I think George might have mentioned next week, just I'm sure it's a slip, but just wanted to mention it was October 19th, a Tuesday at 6:30 at the library. And that is
Excellent.
all.
Third Tuesday of the month.
Correct. Yes. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no public here to stand up and speak, nothing virtually, so I will close public comment. And now that brings us up, we will be entering non-public, but I will need a motion from the board.
I move that we enter non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-alpha:3, 2 for purpose of legal.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call vote.
There
Patrick, aye.
I don't know whether I should recluse myself or go into the meeting and then recluse myself. I don't know what, I would vote to go into non-public. And I don't know whether it's appropriate for me to excuse myself before or after the vote, or not to vote, just excuse myself.
I would vote and recuse yourself in non-public if you feel like that's.
Thank you very much. I'll vote to go non-public.
Okay. Sakosha, aye. Motion passes to enter non-public. So we will be entering non-public and we will be, do we have to re-enter?
We'll come back into public session to close the meeting.
I vote. Did you vote?
Excellent. Yep, motion carries.
Okay, you're live?
Okay, welcome back. We are fresh out of non-public.
That we seal the minutes of the non-public session for 1 month.
Okay, we
I'll
have a
second it.
motion by Select Person Mantrek, a second by Select Person Air. Roll call vote.
Air I.
Mantrek, aye.
Sakosha, aye. Motion passes.
Have we adjourned?
Okay, we have a motion by Select Person Mantrek. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote.
Air I.
Aye.
Sakosha, aye. Thank you all for attending this riveting meeting, and we'll be back with you on October
18.
18th. Thank you.